Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare
आपको बताना चाहिए ना।
Ram Ram Hare
आपको बताना चाहिए था। कैसे बताना? उनको नहीं पता ना, नहीं पता। राम राम हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
नहीं आ रहे।
Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Bol. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र युगधर्म की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। So thank you very much, Balaji Prabhu, Abhinay Mataji, for inviting us for the program, and we're very happy to have Achintya Chaitanya Prabhu. Thank you for joining us today, Prabhuji. And we are just very honored and very happy to have you in our midst. Please feel free to chime in and to hear your realizations. I was thinking actually you should take the class, but I have been told to take it. I'm going to ask for permission so that I can just speak something on Bhagavatam. There's a nice verse from Bhagavatam that I was reading. It is from the 7th canto, 10th chapter, text 64. It's an important verse because it gives us a very important understanding into a principle in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we speak so much of destiny and fate, and very often we are placed in situations where we are not sure, we are not really sure where does fate start, where is destiny, if something is happening to us, how much control do we have, how much control we don't have. That's a question we often ask ourselves. We say Krishna is in control of everything, so then what is our path? What should we do? So these are questions that even after so many years of practicing devotional service, we also face it. Sometimes we have challenges that come to our lives, and we wonder whether the challenges are coming because it is our destiny, because can we do something about it, can it be averted? Sometimes we also feel that we have come to Krishna consciousness, so no challenges should be there. Everything should be free and everything should be easy. But then it is not the case. Then what do we do about it? So this question is always there, and this particular verse is really nice. So let's just chant the verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Devasuro Naro Nyova.
Devasuro Nyova.
Neshvaro Stiha Kaschana. Atmano Nyasya Vadishtam.
Atmano Nyasya Vadishtam.
Daivena Puhitam Dvayo.
Devena Pohitam Dayo.
Devo suro naro nyova.
Devo suro naro nyova.
Ishvaro stiha kaschana.
Ishvaro stiha kaschana.
Atmano nyasya vadishtam.
Atmano nasya vadishtam.
Naivena pohitam dvayoho.
Devena pohitam dayo.
Devo suro naro nyova.
Devo suro naro nyova.
Ishvaro stiha kaschana.
Ishvaro stiha kaschana.
Atmano nyasya vadishtam.
Atmano nasya vadishtam.
Naivena pohitam dvayoho.
Devena pohitam dayo.
Devaha, the demigods. Asuraha, the demons. Naraha, humans. Anyaha, or anyone else. Va, either. Na, not. Ishvaraha, the supreme controller. Asti, is. Iha, in this world. Kaschana, anyone. Atmanaha, one's own. Anyasya, another's. Va, either. Dishtam, destiny. Daivena, which is given by the Supreme Lord. Apohitam, to undo. Vayoho, or both of them. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Please repeat the translation. Maya Danava said, what has been destined by the Supreme Lord for oneself, for others, or for both oneself and others, cannot be undone anywhere or by anyone. Whether one be a demigod, a demon, a human being, or anyone else. So very short purport. So please hear. The Supreme Lord is one. I'm sorry.
Yes, Prabhuji.
The Supreme Lord is one, Krishna, the Vishnu Tattva. Krishna expands himself into Vishnu Tattva, personal expansions, Swamsa, who control everything. Mayadanava said, however I plan, you plan, or both of us plan, the Lord has planned what is to happen. No one's plan will be successful without His sanction. We may make our own various plans, but unless they are sanctioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, they will never be successful. Hundreds and millions of plans are made by all kinds of living entities, but without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, they are futile. Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki
Jai.
So this verse is very nice. The context to the verse is also very important. The thing that is being stated is a great demon Mayadanava is speaking. And he's very powerful because he is a sorcerer, and he's very powerful because he's also a mystic. He was the main person to whom all the demons would turn to whenever they would fight with the Devatas. And so he was very skillful in the art of sorcery and magic. He's speaking here. But what he's speaking is purely Bhagavatam. That's the beauty of Bhagavatam. You'll find in Bhagavatam, even great demons like Hiranyakashipu spoke so much philosophy, which actually is very applicable to us. And here also, Mayadanava is speaking another gem of a point that we should understand. What Mayadanava is saying, that whatever Krishna destines for us, whoever we are, whether we are demons, demigods, human beings, or any one of us, that destiny that Krishna has for us, nobody can undo. This is a very important point. Therefore, Krishna actually has a plan for all of us. And if we understand that His hand is in our lives, especially when we are devotees, then we learn to understand that no matter what we plan, no matter what you plan and I plan, Srila Prabhupada in the purport is paraphrasing what Mayadanava is saying. And he says, however I plan, you plan, or both of us plan, the Lord has planned what is to happen. Therefore, we may have our plans, but Krishna has a plan for each and every one of us. This is the first thing that we should accept. Whenever we talk about ideas of destiny, how much can we alter destiny, how much can destiny change, We should not become confused by these topics, because very often people with a materialistic idea will try to philosophize on destiny, and they confuse us sometimes. If we ever want to understand destiny, just follow 7, 10, 64. It is very, very clear. Because Prabhupada says here that however much we plan, no one's plan will be successful without his sanction. This is the thing to be understood. Why? Because in 13:23 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is very clearly mentioned as Upadrishta and Anumanta. This is very important. So Krishna is described as the overseer and the permitter. This is the two descriptions of Krishna. When Krishna oversees something, we may go in a certain way, but ultimately oversight is with Krishna. So no matter what we plan, his plan will superintend what we plan. And when things don't go the way we want it to go, instead of becoming bewildered, because very often the demons become bewildered, but those who are devotees, they don't become bewildered because they see the hand of Krishna. It may not appear to be exactly the way we think it should go, even in our devotional life, but we should see the hand of Krishna. The whole of Bhagavatam is filled with that actually. When Parikshit Maharaj was unborn, he was protected by the Lord. So someone who is unborn when protected by the Lord, when he's born and everyone talks about him being protected, how much he may be thinking that definitely now my life is meant for great things, I will live long, long time. If Krishna saved me before I was born, surely he won't allow me to die very early. But then he was cursed, and within 7 days his notice is to leave this world. Many people who are not of the devotional nature of Parikshit Maharaj will be asking why did it happen to me? Because they cannot accept the hand of Krishna. But then Parikshit Maharaj famously says in the first canto, I think it is in the 19th chapter, there he says very nicely that Krishna has very kindly and graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahmana's curse. That's the exact word he uses. Graciously and kindly overtaken me. Actually, in the 13th chapter of the first canto, when Vidura comes back to preach and change the mind and the consciousness of his brother Dhritarashtra, he uses a word that's very important. He describes time as Atyakramat Avinyataha. In the first canto, 13th chapter. He says time is Atyakramat Avinyataha. Avinyataha means it is imperceptible. We cannot see when time will come to change our fortunes. We don't see it. Sometimes we think we are going in a certain path and suddenly all our fortunes change. That is imperceptible. Then another feature of time is Atyakramat. Atyakramat means the exact word-to-word meaning is overtake. It is like a fast car, if you're driving on a highway, you see a car very far in the distance, but it's a supercar. It's really fast. And before you know it, you think it won't catch up with you. You think you're going at a good rate. But if you're not very careful, the car will just overtake you without you knowing it. In the same way, time. Dhritarashtra was told by Vidura that all this time you made so many plans. Time and time, Dhritarashtra, throughout the Mahabharata episode, he made plan upon plan. He was politicking, he was planning, he was strategizing, but he had one goal. The goal was always to make sure that his sons were ahead of the Pandavas. His goal was always to ensure that Duryodhana would finally get the seat. That was most important. But despite all his plans, despite his wife Gandhari tried so hard to make sure that Duryodhana would be very powerful. You all know the episode in Mahabharata, right? Duryodhana was supposed to come and see Gandhari without any clothes, just to stand in front of his mother so that she could shield him from head to toe. But in the end, as he was walking in the night, thinking that no one would see him, who would he come across? Of all persons, he would come across the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was also taking a night evening walk. What was the chances of him meeting the Supreme Personality of Godhead taking a night walk? But he did. And Krishna casually asked him, Duryodhana, what are you doing walking around with no clothes on? And Duryodhana was thinking, yes, actually, what am I doing walking around like this? And then he told Krishna, because my mother wants to see me. And Krishna smiled and said, why would you want to see your mother without any clothes? It's a bit odd, isn't it? And Duryodhana was convinced, because Krishna is Upadrishta Anumanta. You may have one plan, but if he doesn't permit that plan, he doesn't sanction that plan, the plan won't go through. And because Krishna is also supreme influencer, long before we have the influencers today, supreme influencer is Krishna. So Krishna influence, why? Because he's super soul. As super soul, he can influence us if we listen to him. But here how powerful he was, that he changed the mind of Duryodhana. Duryodhana was so stubborn and so envious. He had one plan, but his plan could easily be changed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, resulting in Duryodhana walking into the room, still wearing his gamcha, and his mother could not protect his thighs, and the thighs will be the source of his downfall eventually. And when Gandhari heard from Duryodhana that he had met Krishna, and Krishna altered the course of what she thought was his destiny, then Gandhari realized at that point in time that whatever I plan, I may plan, but whatever Krishna has, that is his plan. And that's exactly what Mayadanava is saying here also. So this is very important. Parikshit Maharaj, he did not have the mood of Duryodhana because he was a devotee. A devotee is always more congenial to the destiny and plan of the Lord because he has full faith in Krishna's plans. This is the difference. Krishna's plan is present for the demons, for the demigods, and for everyone. And no one can change the plan. Shastra tells us that. But the devotee's mood is not that he is averse to the plan of Krishna. The devotee, he or she, is always congenial to the plan of Krishna. That's why Parikshit Maharaj, when suddenly his fate changed, in a matter of one day he was cursed. This greatest of all great devotees, Vishnurat, was so powerful, he could have taken care of the whole world, but he was unceremoniously cut down by a curse. Did he lament? Did he become angry with Krishna? No such thing. Immediately he saw that it is the hand of Krishna. And he said he saw Krishna in the Brahmana's curse. Otherwise he would have cursed the Brahmana. As you know, Shringi Brahmana would curse him. He was capable of counteracting also. But he did not do that. He did not do that. In 1848 of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the devotees of the Lord are so forbearing, right? Tiraskrita vipralabdha, shakta shikta hata api, na asyatat pratikurvanti, na asyatat pratikurvanti. Despite the fact that they could be cheated, they could be killed, they could be defamed, despite the fact that all these reverses can happen to devotees, 1848 of Srimad Bhagavatam declares that the devotee never counteracts. They don't counteract because they see the hand of Krishna. And that is why Parikshit Maharaj did not counteract. Chitraketu Maharaj, when he was cursed by Parvati Mata, he did not counteract. He came down from the plane. He put his hands together. He accepted his fault. And by doing that, he accepted the hand of Krishna. This is the greatness of devotees. So that's why Mayadanava is telling us a very important point, that actually finally we all have a part to play. But in the end, Krishna is Anumantaha, he is Upadishtaha. This we must accept. In 1133 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says the same thing. In the beginning of that verse, he tells Arjuna, get up, Utishta Tishtatvam. He tells him, wake up now and fight and gain and enjoy your flourishing kingdom. It is your right, because it was the dharma of Arjuna to do that. But then he says in the last two lines, Mayai Maite Nihata Purva Evam Nimitta Mata Bhavya Savya Sachi. He says very clearly to Arjuna that though this kingdom is yours now, take it. But remember one thing, all those who perished on the battlefield or who are going to perish on the battlefield, they will perish because of my arrangement. Mayai Maite. It is by my arrangement that whoever is to die will die on the battlefield. So then the question may be asked by the materialists, then what is the point of Arjuna being on the battlefield? Might as well Krishna just stand very far away and he can decide everybody will die. You don't even need a battlefield. They can all die in their houses actually. Why a battlefield? Then Arjuna answers that in the second line, last line. Nimitta Mata. He says very clearly that you become an instrument in my will. That is very important. So all of us must mold our lives in such a way that we become instruments in Krishna's hands. Now another question may be asked. How do we know what is the plan of Krishna? Because at the same time, if you read 1 Canto 9 chapter, Bhishma Dev says very nicely, Nahi asya karhichit rajan, Kumar Veda Viditsitam, Yad Vijiknasaya Asa Ayuktaha, Muyanti Kavayopihi. Very clearly, Bhishma Dev, Grandsire, Mahajan says, no one can understand the plan of Krishna. In fact, yogis, mystics, they're all trying to understand. But in the end, they are Muyanti Kavayopihi. They are bewildered. So because they are bewildered, who can understand the plan of Krishna? So if you look at 1134 of the verse in Bhagavad Gita, just after 1133, in 1134, Krishna actually, no, Srila Prabhupada answers that in the purport. Because Prabhupada says in that purport so nicely that actually, frankly speaking, the fact of the matter is, no one can understand the plan of Krishna. That is true. But the only persons to whom Krishna reveals his plans are the pure devotees of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord, they know the plan of Krishna when Krishna reveals it to them. Therefore, if one wants to know the plan of Krishna, then one should hear from the devotees of the Lord, especially the exalted devotees. The pure devotees, our spiritual masters, our acharyas, they know the plan of Krishna. And therefore, as disciples, as followers in the Sampradaya, if we are serious followers of Srila Prabhupada, then we will follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Because his instructions are not different from the instructions of the Supreme Lord. And this is very nicely stated by Prabhupada himself in 1133 of Bhagavad Gita, 1134 of Bhagavad Gita. So this is the royal road for us to be peaceful in devotional service. The problem is our mental speculation. That we are reading Srila Prabhupada's purport, but we find it sometimes very difficult because we have so many doubts. Doubts are good, but if the doubts are not put forward in a humble and submissive manner before our spiritual masters, then the doubts become impediments between us and Krishna. You see the point? Krishna doesn't say that we cannot have queries. Sincere queries are very important, but challenging queries for the sake of ego is not very useful. Prabhupada gives the example in the lecture. You know, sometimes you have a teacher who's teaching two students. One student really doesn't know something and wants to learn. That student the teacher likes very much because he or she is very earnest and sincere. Then there is a student who will ask questions ad nauseum, but there is no end to the questions because the student doesn't want to learn. They're just asking questions, but they don't want to learn. An expert teacher, Prabhupada says in a conversation, he can discern between those students. And the spiritual master can do that too. So we should be very clear when we approach our sastras. Accept sastras because they are coming from the Supreme Personality of God. And the more we accept them in our lives, we have to apply them in our practical lives. Then sastra becomes alive to us. Otherwise, it is lip service. We say that yes, 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 but nothing is actually happening. So therefore, in order for us to actually accept the plan of Krishna, we must first be connected to Krishna. How do you accept something if you're not connected to Krishna? And that is why, what is that verse? 266 of Bhagavad Gita? Nasti buddhira yuktasya, nacha yuktasya bhavana, nacha bhavayata shantir, asantasya kuta sukham. In this verse, Krishna talks about connection. He says, one who is not connected to me, what does that happen to him? That person neither has transcendental intelligence, nor does he have a steady mind. This is very important. Whenever we are practicing Krishna consciousness, if suddenly we find our mind is not steady, if suddenly we find that we are not having taste for transcendental intelligence, then that is a symptom that actually, factually speaking, we may claim to be devotees, but we are not connected to Krishna. This is very important. If our minds are not steady and there's a constant struggle with the mind, and we find that our faith is shaky, don't blame the world, don't blame the process. We should look to whether our lives are being built in such a way that we are connected to Krishna. That is the key. And Krishna says very clearly, without a steady mind, without transcendental intelligence, there is no possibility of peace. No possibility of peace. He doesn't ever say there's a little bit of peace. He says there's no possibility of peace. And then he ends very powerfully by saying, and if you don't have peace, forget about happiness. How to have sukham when you're not even peaceful? And yet the whole world is running after happiness and peace. But the formula is very easy in 266. So please remember the next point. There is a deep connection between our connection to Krishna and our acceptance of his instructions. To the extent that we are connected to Krishna, through our devotional service, through our submissive attitude, to that extent we will be able to accept his plans. The less we are connected to Krishna, the more difficult it will be to accept his plans. Which is why those who are demons, those who are the asuras, they find it very hard to accept Krishna's plans. But the devatas, for example, so many times in Bhagavatam, they accepted Krishna's plans even though they were against it. You remember the churning of the milk ocean? In the churning of the milk ocean, when the Devatas came to see Krishna, Krishna told them an amazing thing. He said, make peace and make truce with the demons. This was not what they were expecting. But he said, your time is not right. So if time is not in your favor, make truce with your enemy and go together and churn the milk ocean. Many wonderful things will come out. Don't be distracted by it. But when at last Dhanvantri will come with Amrit, don't be in a hurry to get it either. Be peaceful. And he says his famous point, in peace and patience, everything is obtained. In anger and anxiety, nothing is obtained. Such a nice point Krishna gives. And at the end of it, the Devatas leave. And they churn, and they churn. And you know, Kurma Avatar comes to help. And you know, at the top, Krishna sits on top Mount Meru, and he also helps to churn in the 1,000-arm form. Krishna tries so hard to help the Devatas and the Asuras to churn. And as they churn, all the beautiful things came out. But the Devatas remembered the instructions of Krishna. That's the point here. They remembered the instructions of the Lord. They were not distracted. This is very important. In accepting the instruction of Krishna, we accept our destiny. In not accepting the instructions of Krishna, we will fight our destiny. We will become very inimical to our destiny. And it will not bring us deeper in our connection to Krishna. So you see the way it's connected. The more you're connected, the more you're accepting. The more you're accepting, the deeper your connection. And finally, when Amrit actually came, Dhanvantri came with it, the demons jumped and they took the Amrit from Dhanvantri. The Devatas wanted to run after the Amrit, but they all remembered Krishna's instructions. Be patient, be peaceful. You know how difficult it is when someone has obtained a prize and you want to catch it. Supposing you're in the middle of a game, and suddenly in the game someone told you don't jump when they catch it. Very hard. You will give up and you will jump. I've seen this happen very often, especially when we have retreats and all. When we have a game, you tell people the instructions in the game, but when the prize comes, right, everybody forgets instruction. They all run after it. It's like that. But the Devatas, because they are devotees, they remembered that. And because of that, what did Krishna do? Krishna came in the form of Mohini. He was pleased with the Devatas. And because they followed his instructions, he altered the destiny. He moved it. Instead of the demons ending up with the nectar, Krishna gave the destiny that was befitting the Devatas. That's the other point that's important. Destiny is not cast in stone. Destiny is what Krishna wills it to be. Please remember that. Sometimes you have a school of thought that says destiny is even greater than God. If that's the case, then God should be destiny. But that's not the case. Nothing is above Krishna. If Krishna wants whatever your destiny is today, he can alter it. And that becomes your destiny. Supposing we're supposed to die just after this program. If Krishna says no, extension of life for 5 more years, let the lease expire 5 years later. I'll give him some renewal of tenancy. So you live in the body for another 5 years. That's up to Krishna. That becomes your destiny. That becomes your destiny. But if Krishna decides now, after this year, he's going to forget me, or he will be in a situation where he's prone to forget me. Better I just take his life now. Then that is his destiny also. So please don't think that destiny is cast in stone. It is Krishna. If Krishna decides something, we accept it. So therefore, as a devotee grows in devotional service, Krishna actually malleably maintains the devotee. That is the nature of Krishna. Krishna is maintainer, right? He is the maintainer. In Ishopanishad, the word maintainer means Pushan. He maintains. That's what he does. Maintaining just doesn't mean status quo. Maintaining is a very difficult situation. To maintain something means Krishna continuously oversees the flow of a devotee's devotional service. He is always overseeing us. That's why he's Anumantaha, he's Upadrishtaha. He's the overseer of our devotional service. If we follow the process, he will carve the destiny for us. And that is what he did in this particular verse. This Mayadanava was thinking that he was the demon expert in all this knowledge. And one time the Asuras were fighting with the Devatas. And there was always fight between them, eternally. And what happened one time was the Devatas were so powerful that the Asuras were severely defeated. So they all retreated. And they took up great penance and they went to see Brahma. See, even demons go and see Brahma. So then when they went to see Brahma, they asked for one boon. They said, Brahma, give us the boon that we will be able to build such a fortress in the sky that it will endure, it will be untouchable, and it will endure forever. Brahma in Bhagavata makes a very important point. He says, my dear sons, nothing endures forever. Nothing. Just like when Hiranyakashipu asked for immortality, Brahma said, I can't give you immortality because I'm not immortal. So Brahma said, I cannot endure forever. How can I give you something that endures forever? But Brahma gave him the boon, Mayadanava and the demons, to build a fortress in the air that would be very, very powerful. And so by Mayadanava's great potency of magic and sorcery, he built 3 very powerful cities. The first city was built of iron, the second was silver, and the last was gold. And these 3 cities were known as Tripura. They were the 3 cities. But the beauty of Mayadanava was he had what we call cloaking technology. You know, if you were younger and you watched science fiction movies last time, you see spaceships going and suddenly they go into stealth mode, isn't it? Or cloak mode. Then you can't see you can't see the spaceship. Right? So in the same way, long before all these spaceships came, technology of Bhagavatam tells us that they were so advanced, they could cloak an entire city. Forget one spaceship, an entire city. And so Mayadanava had cloaking technology and the entire 3 cities were cloaked. Which means the demons could live in peace. That was the idea. Brahma told them, you stay in the city and be peaceful and don't fight now. But it is not in the nature of demons not to fight. We should actually look at our own natures. Huh? If our nature is always to find trouble, everything is peaceful, then you find trouble with someone. That's demonic. If everything is going nicely and you find one little fault, that's also demonic. Because we have this tendency to find some problem. And that is demonic nature. So they were all resting very well, but their asuric nature did not allow them to be peaceful. So one day what happened was, as the demons were living in the cities, the Devatas were living in Swargaloka. The Devatas could not see the demons, and the demons thought, this is the best time for us to attack the Devatas. And so they started attacking, and the Devatas were in so much trouble and so much difficulty, they could not see who were their attackers. And so they all went to Lord Shiva. And you all know Shiva is Param Vaishnava. And they all turned to him for help. And Lord Shiva said, do not worry. I will be able to handle this. You leave it to me. So then what happened was, Lord Shiva then decided, let me now fight this battle. And Lord Shiva came on the battlefield on a beautiful chariot. And on that chariot, because he is Lord Shiva, he began to shoot arrows. And his arrows were so powerful that they actually pierced through the cloak, such that the demons in the 3 cities were being killed. Now the demons were in trouble. And the demons all turned to Mayadanava and said, Mayadanava, please help us. Now Mayadanava decided, since I am a sorcerer, par excellence, I must do something. With his siddhi, he created a large pool. He got the demons to build a large pool. He dug up a place and he filled it with water. And then with his magic potency, he chanted this very powerful mantra of Amrita Sanjivani. That mantra can revive a person who is dead. Very useful in this world, isn't it? It could revive someone who was dead. So Mayadanava then decided the whole pool would be enchanted with this mantra. So as the demons fell by Lord Shiva's arrow, each demon was thrown into the pool. As each demon went into the pool, Bhagavatam said, they arose as if they were alive now. And in fact, Bhagavatam said they became even more powerful. They emerged like giants, piercing through the clouds. And when Lord Shiva saw this, Bhagavatam says Lord Shiva became a little bit disappointed and discouraged. Sometimes when we are also doing devotional service, we want to, we're expecting something to happen, but it doesn't happen. Then we become discouraged. So Lord Shiva felt it actually. And at that point of time, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is in the heart of everyone, he decided, being the friend of all living entities, that he would come and he would actually serve his devotee, Lord Shiva. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead then assured Lord Shiva, don't worry, I will help you in this situation. So what did he do? He didn't shoot arrows. No, Krishna did something else. Krishna decided, he turned to Brahma and said, Brahma, come with me on this mission. So Brahma turned into a calf and Krishna turned into a cow. And together they went into the cities, right, of Tripura. And there they went to the city that had the pool. And as they walked towards the pool, Bhagavatam says, all the demons saw the cow and the calf. But because of Krishna's illusory energy and his yoga potency, yogamaya potency, there was no possibility of the demons even stopping Krishna as the cow and Brahma as the calf. Ordinarily, if the demons are in the middle of war and suddenly a cow and a calf is walking to the pool, you'd be thinking, what is happening? But because they were influenced by Krishna's energy, they could not do anything. This is destiny. You see, they were so bent on winning this war. But when Krishna intervened, the destiny completely altered. So what did the cow and the cow do? They started drinking the water. They just kept drinking water. Some people think cows only drink milk. You know, you have this problem, right? People think, because cows give milk, they only drink milk. But cows drink water. So they drank a lot of water. And they drank until the whole pool was completely dry. And then the cow and the calf decided to walk very coolly out. And at that point of time, suddenly everybody realized that there was no water left. No water means no Amrita Sanjivani. Now when the demons were being shot, no chance for revival. When all the demons decided that something is wrong here, and you can see it just before that, right? Let me just show you that, 7:10:64. Yes, Brahma became a calf, Lord Vishnu a cow. And Bhagavatam even tells us at what time they went. They went directly at noon. At noon they went. And when they did that, what happened was, Krishna by his own potency, he actually drank everything. And when the demons could see the calf and the cow, but because of the illusion created by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons could not forbid them. Now the mystic Mayadharava became aware that the cow and calf were drinking the nectar. He could understand the unseen power of providence. So he turned to the demons who were all very grievously lamenting, and he told them, Deva, Suro, Naro, Anyova. That's the verse we're looking at. And that is why Mayadharava says this verse. So this verse is very contextual. So you have to understand it in the context. And when that happened, Mayadharava stopped the demons. They said, don't even try. Because now we understand Krishna is in control. He has altered the destiny of where we wanted to go. And therefore what happened? Lord Shiva was given the chance by Krishna. Krishna said, now you can shoot all the arrows you want, because actually at this moment, nothing will happen. Nobody will grow up. Nobody will get up. Nobody will get up. Everyone will die. Now, there is one thing that Krishna revealed to Lord Shiva that is very important. Krishna revealed that instead of shooting all the demons one by one, better you choose one powerful arrow of yours. Right? There is a very famous arrow that is very powerful. It is known as the Pashupati arrow. And that is the arrow of Lord Shiva. And so, Lord Krishna instructed Lord Shiva that there is a time when the alignment of all three cities will be aligned. At that time, it only happens once in 1,000 years. And it will only happen when a star known as Pusha is in conjunction with the moon. And that time, Krishna explained to Lord Shiva, is coming now. That's destiny. It's coming now. Just now it's coming. Why would that be like that? It is so perfect because of Krishna. When Krishna was coming into this world in Krishna Lila, the constellations were not in place. But the moment they heard of the advent of the Lord, all the constellations lined up to become most auspicious. See the point? Therefore, anything that is connected to Krishna will eventually become aligned in destiny with him. This is the point of Bhagavatam. And so Lord Shiva was very powerful. He was ready. He was enriched and enlivened by Krishna. And so he pulled that arrow back and he shot it. And the arrow found three cities. It shot through the city of iron, the city of silver, and the city of gold. And it destroyed the city, and the demons had to find another place to live. No other place now. They were open and they were exposed. And that is why Lord Shiva today is known as Tripurari, the conqueror of the three cities. And he's known as Tripurari and the conqueror of the three cities. But we should understand when we hear this wonderful pastime, how it was the destiny of Lord Shiva, sanctioned by Krishna, to actually destroy the three cities of the demons. So I hope we are clear, that it is very clear here, as Prabhupada says, we can have our own plans. We can have so many plans, but ultimately, We must always submit to Krishna's plans. And if we don't know what Krishna's plans are, read Bhagavad Gita. All his plans are in Bhagavad Gita. Read Srimad Bhagavatam. All the devotees, through the devotees, we come to understand Krishna's plans. And if we still don't know what Krishna's plan is, then we should with full force continue our devotional service. And we should await for Krishna's plan. Patiently. Right? That is the mood of a devotee. A devotee is always patient. Patience is such a quality in devotional service. And in that patience, there will come peace. And in that peace, we will be connected to Krishna. Jaya Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Srila Gurudev ki
Jai.
Ananta Kori Vaishnavinda ki
Jai.
Jai Gaura Prema.
Hari Hari.
Are there questions, realizations? Ajita Prabhu, please.
Can I speak?
Please.
It's a very interesting topic that you brought up today's class, and I've noticed that often devotees hear these things and they feel inspired, but when it comes to reality, for example, some astrologer would say that okay, some shiny planet is going to affect you,
Yes.
or Rahu planet is going to
Yes.
affect you, and suddenly you see devotees trying to do all kinds of remedies,
Prayaschitta,
Yeah.
this and that.
So I was just thinking that in the Bhagavatam itself there's a solution to this, because I've studied astrology for a year and I gave it up. So I'm just relating in context, because in 7437
Yes, Prabhu.
when it explains about how Prahlad Maharaj is protected,
Yes.
the phrase in the verse says Krishna Graha Grihita, which means the Krishna planet seized him. Literally that's what it means.
Yes.
And this word Grihita is a common word in astrology.
Yes.
When it speaks about the 9 planets and how they affect us, they use the word Grihita, which means, oh, they say Shani has caught this person.
Yes.
Seized,
Yes.
SEIZED. Yeah. So that same expression is used in the Bhagavatam for saying Krishna Graha Grihita. That's how Prahlad Maharaj is protected.
Yes.
And Prabhupada in his purport,
Yes.
he makes it very clear, just like these 9 planets exist, so Krishna's planet is also a planet.
Yes.
And if one is seized by the Krishna planet, then one can be free from all the complexities. So Bhagavatam is actually giving us a practical remedy that if we just depend on Krishna, because, even if you think in terms of planet, there is actually a Krishna planet, it's a Krishna
Exactly.
Graha.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share my first experience when I came to ISKCON. In the very first few months when I came to ISKCON, I remember the temple president telling me that there is a situation where there was a marriage that was to be performed in the temple, and between devotees, and another devotee astrologist said that if you conduct marriage at this time, there will be death. So it's like very scary thing.
Yeah.
But then the temple president said, I told the astrologer that our spiritual master is here at this time, and he doesn't come by often. And the spiritual master is a representative of the 33 crore demigods.
Yes.
So whatever it is, we'll conduct the marriage at the same muhurta, because otherwise he will not be there.
Yes.
And then they conducted the marriage, and that was only I think a couple of years at that point. But now 35 years since that has happened, and neither the husband nor the wife died. They even have a child who's a daughter who's 32 or 33 now.
Yes.
So I just wanted to say this point that whatever you explained in today's class, if you just accept it, just have that thing that this is true,
So
and
nice.
actually it works out.
Absolutely.
That's
Really.
it. So
No, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for sharing with us Prahlad Maharaj's point also. And I also recall the word Grahitaha in Bhagavatam is also used with different meanings. But one meaning that I find very significant is the word accept. Grahita actually also means to accept. And it fits so nicely with the point that you stated. That this Graha that we speak about, but Krishna's planet, if we just simply accept Krishna, then he will override everything actually. And Srila Prabhupada taught us that so many times. Even when someone wanted to read the palmistry, and Prabhupada would say, just like for Kirtan, and everything will change actually. So we should have that faith. I think that's your point. The point is to accept it.
And in fact, there are some very beautiful letters which Prabhupada wrote, like
Yes.
with one stroke of his kick, Krishna can kick hundreds of Rahu planets.
Exactly.
So Prabhupada definitely emphasized it a lot.
He did. Sometimes, and you're right, After all this talk, someone will come and tell me, I've given this class before. After class, I remember in Chennai, someone came up to me and said, but Prabhu, so now we're going to get marriage going. Should we go and see the astrologer or we shouldn't go and see the astrologer? They're all, like you said, these are the practical challenges. But I think what Prabhu pointed out is so important. That once you come under Krishna's planet, once you come under Krishna's energy and protection, then all other considerations are actually subordinate to the primary consideration. This is a very important point. Krishna is not subordinate to any material energy, neither is he subordinate to his own energy. Krishna is supreme energy. Therefore, if we are fully accepting of Krishna, fully connected to Krishna, then we should have the faith that whatever that is coming is ultimately coming from Krishna. And in that way, we become peaceful to execute on Krishna's purpose. Otherwise, there will be so many considerations that we'll keep looking at. Thank you, Prabhu. Any other points? Prabhu's one. Yes, Prabhu.
Sorry, Prabhu, thank you so much for such a thought-provoking class. Maybe I have many thoughts, but I'm just sharing few. In the lecture, you mentioned about 1133, where Tasma Prithvi.
1133, yes.
1133, right, of Bhagavad Gita, that now you wake up and then you enjoy, right?
Yes.
And become my instrument.
Yes.
But also in the Bhagavad Gita 2.49, Lord Krishna mentions that one who wants to enjoy the fruits of his act is actually a miser.
True. But that doesn't apply to Arjuna. Because Krishna is telling him that it is your dharma now to take over the kingdom. And as once you've taken the kingdom, it is your dharma to enjoy the kingdom. It is not a material point that he's putting across. When a king, you see, Prabhu, the problem with devotees is we think enjoyment is being sensual and material. But why are we here? We are here because you're also enjoying. I hope you're enjoying the program. You're enjoying. After this, you'll enjoy more when Prasadam comes. So we all enjoy actually. But we have this thinking in our mind that the word enjoy means we are sinning. The word enjoy means we are in material thinking. But Krishna is not telling Arjuna that. It is also, it is the birthright of a living entity to be in Anand, in happiness. It is our right. The problem is we are channeling it in the wrong place. Prabhupada brings this up many times in Nectar of Devotion and so many parts of such. That's why we're running after enjoyment. We just haven't channeled it correctly. If you're a Kshatriya and you're following Varnashrama Dharma, there is always provision for enjoyment within each Dharma. That is all Krishna is saying. And Arjuna is transcendentally attached to Krishna. So whatever that he's going to take, whatever that he's going to do, whatever consciousness he has on the field, will be spiritual. So therefore it is a mistaken notion that a devotee doesn't have enjoyment. We have so much of enjoyment. That's why we are here. We're enjoying all the time. But our enjoyment is transcendental. It is not enjoyment where we are enjoying for the sake of exploiting or lording over material nature. That is why 249 is there. Because 249 tells us that we should not be attached to that kind of material nature. But now coming here and sitting down and being blissful, that is our birthright. If devotional service did not have an element of bliss, nobody will come for classes. If even classes in austerity most of the time. We want to wait for the kirtan to finish and quickly go home, or at least have prasadam. You see the point? Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you so much.
So that's important. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Amsika, yes.
I wanted to ask you this yesterday. Prabhuji discussed about raga and dvesha, attachment and detachment. So if we were to put attachment and detachment in a spectrum, and you were talking about regulation. So by regulation, do you want us to be on the spectrum, as in be on both sides, be attached for a bit, detached for a bit, or do you want us off the spectrum?
You mean me? I want.
Like, how do you, like, your advice was for us to be regulated. So I want you to explain what regulation means.
When you regulate something, it means you still have it within your purview. Isn't it? When you regulate something, if you have to do an activity, the activity is within your purview. But you have to regulate it. In other words, you have to move it within certain boundaries. So therefore, whether you are attached to something or you're detached from something, our regulatory principle is whether it brings us closer to Krishna or not. That is our regulatory principle. Whether we can remember Krishna or we can't. If somehow or another the activity allows us to remember Krishna, we embrace it. If the activity makes us averse to Krishna, we avoid it. That's our spectrum. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Once you have that within the purview, then everything falls in place. So then we understand. We may not be able to perform it immediately, at least theoretically we understand. That is why there must be regulation in everything that we do. Because without regulation, we'll be swept by it. But with regulation, we'll know there's a time to be with the family. There's a time to sit down to read the Gita. There's a time for us to do this. There's a time for that. And certain things, there is less time for that because we need more time for Krishna. That is how we regulate our lives. And it will never be the same for each person. That's, I think, an important point here. Everybody, according to their situation, sthane sthitaha, wherever they are situated, they should understand their situation and they should be regulated by the regulating principles of freedom. And in that way, based on Shastra, they should lead their lives. It varies from individual to individual. Because your work, my work will be different. Your stage of life is different from mine. So how are we to have one principle all the way? But the principle that's important is, are we averse to Krishna or are we attached to Krishna? That is the key. Is that helpful?
Prabhuji, I have a follow-up.
Sure.
So, I sometimes see aversion as a means to an end. So I feel that it helps me. So for example, if I have a bad habit that I want to let go,
Yeah.
I try to feel negative about it so that I stop doing that particular habit,
Yes.
and then eventually detachment comes. So is that okay?
Yes, that's fine. Because if you hear the acharyas like Bhakti Vinod Thakur, many of his bhajans, for example, he expresses disgust. He expresses feelings which are very strong, aversion to materialistic principles of lust, anger, and greed. That mood of aversion is not the aversion that we were speaking about yesterday. That mood is also regulated. You understand that this is taking you away from Krishna, and you become disgusted with yourself. But it becomes a problem when you become averse to certain principles and you become disgusted with people who are involved with them. Then you criticize them, then you blaspheme them, then you blame them. But if you are hard on yourself and say, enough is enough, I'm not going to do this anymore, then that is a principle of detachment actually. Is that helpful?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Achintya Prabhu.
Yeah, I mean, that's very beautiful points that they have brought up. So, I was just thinking that in the nectar of instruction, Rupa Goswami starts with tolerating the urges of the senses.
Yes.
So sometimes devotees ask that this is tolerating the urges, one can become a spiritual master of the whole world.
Yes.
But there Prabhupada writes is the fundamental principle, all of us should be Goswamis. So it
Exactly.
looks like this is a very high standard, but actually it is a very basic standard, which everybody is expected to follow in terms of at least tolerate.
Yes.
But then when it speaks about the Goswamis, the Shad Goswami Ashtaka, when it's made with Nidrahara, Viharakati, Vijito, they're conquered. They don't need to eat, they don't need to sleep.
Exactly.
But eventually that comes to that stage. But the fact is that we have to at least tolerate. And within the realms of toleration, then we have to act within that, not that we go outside of which you brought up very nicely. And I was thinking this concept of there itself in the nectar of instruction, it says that what are the things favorable and what are the things unfavorable.
Yes.
So that should be our,
Guiding
compass.
force.
That we are supposed to be consider these things favorable and we are supposed to consider these things unfavorable. So it's like a positive, it's an instruction which we have been given, which we need to follow. I think this concept of raga and dvesha generally is used in the sense when one wants something for one's own sense gratification. It's not used in the context of what we need to follow and what we need to avoid.
Yes. Ultimately, as Prabhu said, Hamsika, it is self-regulatory. And I think that's an important principle for us. So if aversion helps you, because you know yourself better, then fine. So we have to take it as it comes. Thank you very much.
Getting the point about fruits that he mentioned,
Yes.
I remember Gopi Parandak who made some beautiful points. So he says that if you take the example of the Pandavas, they struggled so much to get that kingdom. I mean, of course, by Krishna's will.
Yes.
But finally, after they got the kingdom, did they actually remain as emperors? No.
No.
The moment Krishna left the planet, they left. So which means that although they had all the facilities, but their interest was, as long as Krishna is there, they're okay. So they're not doing it for the sake of their own enjoyment. Similarly, Gopiparanand gives the example of Uddhava. Uddhava, when he goes to Vrindavan, we all know how overwhelmed he was seeing the love of the Vrajavasis. But what instruction does Krishna give him? Go to Badrikashram after I'm gone, so that those sages do not get me association. So Uddhava doesn't think, oh my God, I would love to go to Vraj, But Krishna is giving me a different instruction. So he just does it. So I mean, since that point of enjoyment came up, I just remember these two things, that how there is actually enjoyment in following Krishna's instruction, but one is doing it because Krishna has said it, not because one wants one's own plan as the context of the classes.
So if you summarize it, if our enjoyment is subordinate to what Krishna would be pleased with, that enjoyment of pleasing Krishna is higher than what we want for ourselves. It is a sacrifice, but it ultimately is more pleasing. Okay, one last one, then we have to go. Many people are starting to speak. No, that's okay. I can see.
I cannot stop. Prabhu, in your lecture you mentioned there is something called as fate, F-A-T-E, fate.
Yes.
And then there is faith,
Yes.
right? That we have Shraddha, right? So typically, but in typical material connotation, there are certain, fate is not something that is considered in a very positive connotation, right? It
You mean as in F-A-T-E?
F-A-T-E, right?
Okay.
People say that I have learned to my fate.
Oh, then you're talking about people
So,
being fatalistic.
Yeah, so we are saying that but at the same time, when you accept something like fate or destiny, right? In one way you become very distressed, right? While there is other extreme where people say that you are the maker of your own destiny.
Yes.
Right? That's the one extreme. One extreme is resigned to the fate, accept everything.
And one is the other side.
Other side is you put endeavor, you put hard work, and you make your destiny. You are a self-made man.
Yes.
People say like that.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I'm not able to articulate it correctly. But in one way, right, when you endeavor, you make your own endeavor, right, you're trying to change the course of the future event in one way.
But you don't know what the future is.
Yeah. But
So you see,
and other side, when you put that, I accept whatever is going to come.
but you don't know what is going to come.
Then I basically, I accept whatever is coming, so I become very relaxed, distressed, right?
Yes.
So how do we reconcile these two?
Prabhu, there's no need to reconcile both because they are materialistic concepts. We are speaking as devotees now. You know that you can make your destiny by Krishna's blessing. You also know you have to accept destiny when Krishna gives you something. In both situations, the devotee's interest is always subordinate to Krishna's interest. Destiny for a devotee is dynamic. It moves according to what we do to please Krishna, to please our spiritual masters. We are not concerned about what will happen in 60 years. We are concerned about what we can do for Krishna today. We can make plans, but we always know that our plans finally will have to be superintended by Krishna. So a devotee has no problems in that way at all. Because we know that we can't see the future. Krishna sees future, Krishna sees past, Krishna sees present. So even in that way, we are not worried about the future. We may plan for something, we may plan for someone and all of that, but we always have this back of the mind, at the back of our mind, we have a clear understanding that no matter what we do, we have to try our best, we have to do what we have to do, we have to do our duties. But ultimately, what we intend is superintended by Krishna. So the devotee doesn't get caught up in this discussions of maker of destiny or fatalistic. We are neither. Because we have Krishna. The persons who speak of this don't speak of the Supreme Lord. They speak of themselves. So there's a vast difference between where we are coming from and where they are coming from. You see the point? It's completely different. Completely. Is it clear, bro?
Not
Is it
convincing.
clear to everyone? It is, right?
It is like self-help and Krishna help.
Yeah.
If you start thinking like how you're saying, it's like self-help. But what Prabhu is talking is Krishna help.
There's only so much you can do to help yourself. Ultimately, Krishna's help is going to be there. His sanction has to be there. You can plan to go to Malaysia, right? But you have your passport, everything. But finally, the Malaysian authorities have to decide whether you can enter or not. So no matter what you plan, your destiny is in their hands. So if you think of Krishna as your ultimate sanctioning authority, then whatever you plan to do will still have to be presented before Krishna. And then Krishna decides what you want to do. Think about it. Over the sun. Let's chant for 5 minutes and then we'll end the program. Mataji, you have to be quick.
So then should we plan or should we not plan?
Of course you have to plan, that's the whole point. You must plan. After 40 minutes you're asking me this question. You have to plan. Your plans are your desires. Your desires is your service to Krishna. You had to plan to come to this program, isn't it? Or you didn't plan? You had to plan. You have to plan about your children's future. But after planning, the outcome of your plan is not in your hand. The outcome of the plan is in Krishna's hands. If we could plan every plan and outcome, we would be Krishna. But we're not. So therefore we must plan. Mother Yashoda planned in the morning of Diwali, she wanted to churn. That was her plan. But suddenly Krishna told her to stop churning. She accepted Krishna's plan. Krishna wanted milk, she dropped her plan. Then there was another problem because the stove was threatening to boil over. So what did she do? She changed her plan. She went to she saved the milk. But when she came back, Krishna had another plan. He broke the pots. Then she had to run after him to the storage room. And there Krishna's plan was prevailing because he was feeding all the monkeys. So Mother Yashoda had a plan. Now I have to discipline him. So she wanted to run after him. But her plan was to catch him. But he was not to be caught. But then because of a mood of surrender, Krishna's plan changed and he allowed himself to be caught. Then he could not be tied. Her plan was to tie him, but she couldn't tie him. But eventually, because she surrendered, she was subordinate to his interests. Krishna's plan prevailed. Mother Yashoda's plan also prevailed. She planned. We have to plan. And we'll keep planning every day, and our plans will change. That's how we have to plan. Is that okay? I planned to be here at 12:15. I ended up coming here at 12:35. You see? So we plan. But it may not always work out. Is that helpful? Thank you. Now we plan to sing. Can we sing? Jai Gurudwara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र युग धर्म की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की श्रील प्रभुपाद की श्रील गुरुदेव की अनंत गुरु वैष्णव की गौर प्रेम